If you've paid close attention to Masashi Kishimoto's Naruto series, it's likely that you've appreciated the strong character development throughout. In this piece, we delve into a particular set of characters, the antagonists from Naruto's storyline. Although Naruto's villains may not have achieved the same level of infamy as Bleach's antagonists, they are still impressive enough to warrant their own article. Here, you'll find a rundown of the top 20 Naruto villains ranked based on their overall character quality. That we have a different core, Rasa, as a conscientious leader, Rasa valued the well-being of his people deeply, even going as far as to join forces with the unpredictable and dangerous Orochimaru in an attempt to aid Tsunagakure's resources, unaware that this would eventually lead to Konoha's destruction. Regrettably for the Kazekage, this alliance proved disastrous, resulting in his betrayal and tragic demise at the hands of Orochimaru, along with his bodyguard. Discovering of within the domestic setting, Rasa appeared to exhibit a more Machiavellian approach as he was prepared to forfeit his wife's life in order to achieve his ambition, transforming their third child into Tsunagakure's most potent weapon. Upon noticing that Gaara struggled with self-control, posing a threat to the village inhabitants, he attempted multiple times to kill him because of Gaara's instability, and the unease he caused among the villagers was that the word mending of the head of cross was the opposance of this scholarly. And this American, however, it was also his responsibility for having initially created this destructive being. Hanzo held a strong sense of vigilance regarding his personal safety. He maintained constant surveillance around the clock and refused admittance to anyone in his company, even children, until they were thoroughly checked. Above all else, he treasured his role as a village chief. His intense focus on security led him to believe that he was safeguarding the exceptional abilities he had acquired. But in reality, this preoccupation caused those skills to decline due to disuse. Despite viewing the Big Five nations as adversaries, he never hesitated to form alliances with foreign powers, including those that had wronged him severely, in order to maintain his rule. Such actions, devoid of regret, were not uncommon for him. The leader and his team of orphans of Ame paid dearly for their loyalty, as they were ruthlessly targeted without pity, a betrayal that ultimately proved fatal. And ironically, this act of treachery was the catalyst for his downfall, which, by the way, in his younger days, Hanzo aspired for ideals of peace and endeavored to materialize this vision by uniting the five great nations. However, upon understanding that such a path would merely lead to endless conflict and ultimately bring about more deaths, he abandoned his convictions. Later on, Hanzo focused solely on safeguarding the power he had accumulated, growing increasingly overconfident in his martial arts abilities, which had weakened due to disuse. To this day, at the moment of his demise, Hanzo remained puzzled about how a foe he once defeated could have surpassed him in strength. Ikin Heat, Zabuza Momochi, Zabuza is known for being cold, ruthless, arrogant, and extremely ambitious. These traits were evident even at a young age. As a child, he found pleasure in cruelly defeating all his opponents during his genin exam, effectively erasing any competition. This consuming ambition led him to rise through the ranks and become one of the seven swordsmen of the Mist. He immediately began stirring up unrest with the aim of overthrowing the existing power structure. As a passionate film enthusiast, I'd rephrase it like this. Despite being banished for my actions, I never abandoned my dreams. That the tireless sought the resources as a rogue ninja. I tirelessly sought the resources for my impending triumph. I enlisted Haku, whose ancestral powers and loyalty served as formidable weapons in my struggle. Later, I turned to mercenary work to accumulate the funds essential for my project's execution. So it's clear that he intended to eliminate this man and seize his wealth when the opportunity arose while working for Gato. However, even this demon possesses some human qualities. In his spot, Haku suffered a fatal strike at Kakashi's hand. Unmoved by Haku's apparent demise, Zabuza instead seized the opportunity to attack both Haku and Kakashi simultaneously, revealing his ruthless nature. Naruto, deeply affected, expressed his emotions openly, and mourning the loss of his loyal companion. Zabuza retaliated against Gato, who had mistreated Haku's remains, ultimately taking revenge on him by ending Gato's life. That be a single 17. Hayden, in the series, Hayden stood out as one of the most impolite and disrespectful characters. His language was crude, and he showed little regard for both friends and foes, demonstrating behavior that was far from what is expected of a devout person. Hidan seldom used formal speech when speaking, and even on occasion employed a sarcastic tone, such as when he affectionately referred to Deidara as Deidara-chan. Amongst the members of Akatsuki, he stood alone in showing disregard towards their leader, Pain. On numerous occasions, he openly expressed his strong intention to eliminate him, even in front of his peers. The only reverence he seemed to show was towards his deity, and moreover, he frequently used his name as a derogatory term. He openly accused Kakuzu of his disrespectful behaviors, such as greed and mocking Hidan's religion and combat style. However, during battles where Hidan showed signs of violence, they functioned seamlessly together, suggesting a hidden bond between them. This is evident in the way Hidan reacted with alarm when he almost killed Kakuzu under Shikamaru's influence. Number 16, Sasori. Growing up, Sasori harbored a deep sorrow from losing his parents at an early age, which left him devoid of love. His grandmother's teaching in the art of puppetry was meant as a refuge from this sorrow. In an attempt to cope, he crafted 2 dolls resembling his deceased parents, but soon realized that these creations couldn't replace the emotional gap within him. Consequently, Sasori evolved into a detached individual. Starting from that point, he stopped valuing human lives significantly, even claiming he felt indifferent about Chiyo's demise. His heart yearned to resemble his body, a mechanical doll, tightened, devoid of feelings. And despite not achieving complete success, as he viewed his actions at the time of his demise as pointless since Sakura had already defeated him with Chiyo's aid, he remains a ruthless individual with a pragmatic perspective on life. He asserted that matters such as life, death, or murder were more straightforward than you might imagine. Number 15, Kaku's. He appears as someone focused on wealth and material possessions, showing particular interest in financial gain. The tasks he undertakes are worthwhile to him only if they promise rewards or profits. Moreover, it seems that he joined the Akatsuki primarily for personal benefit, using his role within the group as an opportunity to accumulate wealth, such as by selling bodies of his victims on the black market. And it appears that he genuinely holds the title of organizational treasurer, seeing as he has underlings managing his financial records. These individuals may soon face trouble. From Suigetsu, there's no doubt that Kakuzu was previously a bounty hunter, given his professional associations and approach to missions, viewing them as manhunts that yield monetary rewards. And despite being obedient to Pain, the Akatsuki's leader without hesitation, their relationship with Hidan is strained because Hidan annoys him with his rituals and manners. Conversely, Hidan himself finds Kakuzu's materialistic side and disregard for money distasteful and the same time. According to him, he had killed his former teammates due to his unpredictable temperament. 14 and 18. Don't do something. What happens to that team? Deidara seems, as a film critic, I must confess that Deidara is not exactly my favorite character. Prone to outbursts and overreactions, this fellow seems to take pleasure in the chaos that explosions bring battles. He refers to these destructive acts as his art, a term he holds in high regard, and Deidara's unique quirk lies in his habit of concluding most of his statements with an HM. His self-perception is grandiose, considering himself the pinnacle of talent due to his art. Victory, he believes, is always within his grasp. However, these megalomaniac traits sometimes overshadow the true essence of Deidara's character. His losses make him so enraged that he might even explode. Moreover, he has an inflated sense of self-importance and expects those around him to be in awe of his talents, which he views as extraordinary. It's likely that he struggles with narcissistic personality traits, possibly stemming from challenging times in his past, though the specifics remain unclear. To One, his losses push him over the edge to the point where he might actually self-destruct. Furthermore, he expects people who encounter him to appreciate his skills, which he views as supreme. He grapples with narcissistic personality disorder, likely a result of hardships in his past that have yet to be revealed. And his defeats push him so far over the edge that he might even blow himself up. Moreover, he demands gratitude from people who meet him for his talents, which he considers divine. He battles with narcissistic personality disorder, possibly stemming from difficult periods in his life, but the details are unknown. For his losses make him so furious that he might actually destroy himself. Furthermore, he expects those who interact with him to appreciate his abilities, which he views as godlike. He struggles with narcissistic personality disorder, likely due to difficult experiences in his past, although the particulars are unclear. His losses make him so enraged that he might actually explode. Additionally, he expects people who meet him to be grateful for his skills, which he considers extraordinary. He wrestles with narcissistic personality disorder, possibly a result of challenging times in his past. However, the specifics are unknown, and that his losses make him so infuriated that he might even self-destruct. Furthermore, he wants people who encounter him to be thankful for his abilities, which he views as divine. He fights with narcissistic personality disorder, likely stemming from difficult periods in his life, but the details are unspecified. His losses make him so angry that he might actually blow himself up. Moreover, he requires gratitude from people who meet him for his talents, which he considers superior. He battles with narcissistic personality disorder, possibly a result of trying times in his past. Though the facts are undisclosed, the escaper, his losses make him so furious that he might actually self-destruct. Furthermore, he expects people who meet him to be thankful for his abilities, which he considers exceptional. He wrestles with narcissistic personality disorder, likely a result of difficult periods in his past, but the particulars are obscure. 9, his losses make him so enraged that he might actually explode. Moreover, he expects people who encounter him to be grateful for his skills, which he views as exceptional. He battles with narcissistic personality disorder, likely a result of challenging times in his life, but the specifics are unknown. 10. His losses make him so angry that he might actually self-destruct. Furthermore, he requires gratitude from people who meet him for his abilities, which he considers extraordinary. He grapples with narcissistic personality disorder, possibly a result of difficult periods in his past, though the specifics are unclear. Diderot primarily identifies himself as an artist, and this perspective significantly shapes how he views battles. considering them more like creative outlets rather than mere confrontations. Similar in thought, though, with distinct interpretations, is his comrade Sasori, uh, okay, 13, um, Kimimaro Kaguya. Um, Unlike most members of his clan, Kimimaro wasn't driven by a desire to fight or kill. Instead, viewing his skills merely as a means to serve others, he was known for his tranquility and reserved demeanor, fully dedicating himself to every task given to him. Uh, um, as a young one, he showed exceptional prowess in combat and possessed unique abilities that made him the strongest in his clan. However, his gentle nature prevented him from causing harm to those unrelated to him, which led him to shy away from involvement in conflicts and instead find solace in the beauty of flowers. Um, the softness in him is further emphasized by his compassionate and considerate nature towards Jugo, as he's among the select few capable of keeping Jugo from slipping into self-control. And that truth, issues it in terms of capable message. Following his encounter with Orochimaru, Kimimaro felt an intense loyalty towards him, which seemed almost like religious fervor or regard for a father figure, with the comics hinting in the former and the anime suggesting the latter, prospectively. Kind of seeing, he perceived Orochimaru's apparent pineness as his uh, reason for being, believing that serving Orochimaru in any capacity was his sole purpose in life. 12 billion Kisame Hoshigaki. Kisame's defining trait was his unwavering determination, a characteristic that left him unfazed by doubts, regrets, or any mission, regardless of its immorality, impracticality, or potential for self-destruction. Among the Akatsuki members, it was Kisame who demonstrated the most absolute dedication and self-sacrifice, having willingly given up his life, as well as the lives of countless others, to further the organization's objectives out of personal choice. Due to his brutal and aggressive history, as well as the unforgiving nature of the duties he was constantly given, he became an emotionless and merciless individual, neither overly compassionate nor excessively cruel like certain Akatsuki members. Um, he often viewed himself as a savage, or a cannibal. He joined the Akatsuki seeking a world free from deceit, a trait that sets him apart and makes it challenging to connect with others. He lacks empathy or genuine concern for anyone as potential targets are concerned. The thought of developing feelings for someone he might need to uh, eliminate is intolerable to him and would be an unbearable hypocrisy and burden for his missions. Regardless of his emotions, he would carry out his tasks effectively. In essence, he doesn't allow personal attachments to interfere with his uh, objectives. He found a deep connection with only one individual, Itachi, whom he perceived as sharing a similar complex personality. However, towards the end of his life, he realized that their shared traits were not the sole defining factors of who he was. 11. Gaara. Initially, Gaara was good-natured and made attempts to be amicable with others, even when they were scared or hostile towards him. However, the actions and remarks of Yashimaru cause him to change. Recognizing that no one truly cared for him, Gara etched the Chinese character for love into his forehead with sand, symbolizing a self-loving demon as a way to embody in his name, which was largely recognized and in the happening, which in its hand as why Dara firmly believed that Kudera had predestined him to live in this manner, trusting the words of Yashimaru. As a result, he grew emotionally detached, quiet, and harbored a deep resentment towards nearly everyone except himself and Shukaku's voice within his mind. He discovered joy in eliminating the numerous assassins sent to take his life, thus protecting his own existence, and eventually made this purpose his reason for living. During Shukaku's periodic demands for blood to satisfy its thirst, Gara grew increasingly merciless. This was evident in actions like him killing Bayu and disregarding the entreaties of Midari, as Shukaku would occasionally ask for blood to quench its thirst. Gara became more ruthless, as demonstrated by his killing of Bayu and ignoring the pleas of Midare. Uh, uh, Yet another option: Shukaku's periodic demands for blood to slake its thirst led Gara to act cruelly, such as when he murdered Bayu and disregarded the supplications of Midar. Gara's inability to sleep, driven by the terror that the demon within him might consume him during slumber, intensified his instability and thirst for violence. His animosity reached even his brother and sister, disregarding them as family. In his own terms, he was prepared to kill them if they provoked him. 10. Conan, and as an ardent admirer, I can't help but notice that despite her icy demeanor, Conan shows immense concern for Nagato's well-being, particularly his health. And born and bred amidst the turmoil of war, Conan was no ordinary kunoichi. Her journey was marked by high rank status as an S-class criminal and tutelage under the esteemed Jiraiya, one of the legendary three ninjas. And it's clear that her prowess was acknowledged not just by Pain, but also by her revered master, Jiraiya himself. I think one single day, Danzo Shimura, as a young movie buff, Danzo was an impulsive and passionate action hero, craving to outshine the legendary figure Hiruzen. This dream of mine was unfulfilled during my lifetime, yet it persisted every day. Beneath my bravado, there was a lingering self-doubt and a quiet apprehension towards confronting peril. As a grown man, Danzo transformed his personality, adopting a composed and contemplative nature. Similar to his subordinates en route, he concealed his feelings. Unlike the Hokage, Danzo believed that the well-being of the village took precedence over all else, even if it meant disregarding principles of morality and ethics. Danzo tended to deal with perceived threats by taking immediate, forceful actions such as assassination or execution rather than engaging in negotiations or diplomacy. His unwavering devotion to the belief that a ninja must be willing to give up everything for the well-being of their village was intense and almost religious in nature. Eight. Yakshi. As a passionate cinephile, I find it challenging to encapsulate Kabuto's complex character in a few words. On one hand, he can be sincere and polite, displaying a level of courtesy that is admirable. Yet, on the other hand, he can exhibit a chilling sadism that sends shivers down your spine. He has an uncanny ability to switch between being helpful and injecting humor into situations, making him quite intriguing. And his methods of warfare are unique, often involving mind games with his enemies, pushing them to the brink of madness, exposing their deepest vulnerabilities for future exploitation. However, there's one line he won't cross. The disrespect shown by Sasuke Uchiha towards Orochimaru is unacceptable in his eyes. On numerous occasions, even the Sannin himself struggled to decipher Kabuto's true thoughts and motives, such as when he requested Kabuto to kidnap Sasuke, fearing that Kabuto might intend to kill him rather than capture him. To test his loyalty, Orochimaru suggested that this was an opportune moment if Kabuto wished to betray him. Nevertheless, despite his reservations, Orochimaru trusted Kabuto and found the idea of disobedience utterly unbelievable. I don't feel against Zetsu. White Zetsu appears remarkably tranquil and collected, occasionally moving at a deliberate pace that can give the impression of simplicity or even foolishness. However, this is not to undermine his intelligence or awareness. In fact, he demonstrates great cleverness and keen observation, particularly during the battle between Sasuke and Itachi. Additionally, he demonstrated both initiative and strategic thinking during the Kake Summit, where his unexpected presence enabled him to scatter spores on all participants, enabling Sasuke to escape, or special ways at least buy time, by weakening his opponents. And White Zetsu portrays a character that appears childish and submissive, often being humble. And at the Kage Summit, he showed cleverness and strategy by scattering spores on everyone present, helping Sasuke escape or buy time against enemies while waiting for Tobi. White Zetsu usually comes off as childish and submissive due to his humble demeanor, and Black Zetsu exhibits a more intricate character compared to his white counterpart. Unlike the lighthearted demeanor of White Zetsu, Black Zetsu is consistently severe and dominating in his interactions with White Zetsu, often imposing his decisions without hesitation when they forced a pair. He also exhibits some impulsive traits in his character, such as during the pursuit of feudal lords, where Black Zetsu charged headlong into a decoy and fell into his ambush. It was apparent that the figures before him, even standing with their backs to him, were puppets set up as traps, which he managed to evade to the ninjas who had seen him rush into a sound trap. This was a rude move for a ninja like Zetsu, further demonstrating his overabundance of impatience. Following this escapade, it's apparent that Black Zetsu took a measure of pride in being underrated by us when he grew irritated at our presumption. But Madara Uchiha, Madara is often seen as a self-assured and haughty individual, scornfully regarding opponents like Onoki, whether in his revived state or from earlier times. Um, he also shows no fear when faced with Mei Terami's techniques. Occasionally, he acknowledges the skills of others too, like Mei and A's, as well as their lightning release armor. He also appreciates Gaara and Onoki for their outstanding defense capabilities, particularly in stopping his initial meteorite attack. Additionally, he gives credit to Naruto for neutralizing his wood release technique. Uh, Additionally, it's worth noting that Madara in Uchiha often views combat as a form of dance. His intense and ruthless animosity towards the Senju clan and Konoha is deeply ingrained because he is a relative of Madara's elder brother who was denied the position of the Sage of Six Path successor in Kandai's. And this enmity intensified when the village selected Hashirama Senju to be the Hokage instead of him. Half of the Nagato Uzumaki, and as per Jiraiya's account, he would have achieved mastery over 6 types of chakra nature changes and 5 elements by the age of 10, an extraordinary feat for a ninja, due to his rare Rinnegan ability, which eventually, complete to the environment, he has the power to control 6 corpses simultaneously, which he names pain. This is accomplished by embedding numerous tough black piercings, acting as transmitters and receivers of chakra all over these bodies and faces. In a similar fashion, many summonings are capable of being utilized by one of his forces. When combined, the 6 pains transform into pains Rikudo, the 6 realms of pain. Following the demise of his closest friend Yahiko, Nagato decides to use his corpse as the central body among the 6. Although he spends most of his time in the concealed village of Ame, when he wishes to manage the bodies from a distant location, Nagato must also depart from the village and maintain a suitable distance from the corpses, preferably as far away and high up as possible to ensure complete command over them. 4, Kaguya Otsutsuki. In the anime, Kaguya showed incredible abilities before she ate the divine tree's fruit. She had the power to travel across the cosmos, induce sleep, hypnotize others, wipe their memories clean, and unleash a devastating shockwave from her eyes, which could repel or even eliminate her adversaries. And Kaguya's power was so extraordinary that she could severely wound Ishiki even when he was taken by surprise. And by herself, she brought peace to the war-torn world, inspiring awe and fear among the people. Her son, Hagoromo, who was also a legendary figure, admired his mother's power as surpassing all others, even their combined powers. Despite their peak strength, it required Hagoromo and Hamura several months to vanquish Kaguya. She showcased exceptional skills, including intertwining with nature to command various environments within her realms, like ice and snow, the power of flight, and in the anime, the aptitude to peruse thoughts and emotions of others. 3, Obito Uchiha Tobi. As a ninja from Konoha, Obito's skills were only mediocre compared to his peers at the academy. driven by ambition to excel, he dedicated several months to training and eventually earned the rank of Chunin. Impressed by Obito's potential, Madara took him as his apprentice. Under Madaro's guidance, Obito's hidden talents began to flourish, leading him to emulate Madara at his peak. Obito was okay, but not great as a Konoha ninja, and he wanted to be better. He spent months training until he became a uni. Madara saw that Obito had a lot of potential, so he taught him with Madara's help, Obito started showing skills similar to what Madara could do at his best. 14-year-old Obito confronted the fourth Hokage and came close to devastating Konoha. In his maturity, he defeated two exceptional Aembu operatives from Root, killed Konan, and matched Naruto, Killer Bee, Guy, and Kakashi in individual battles. As the host of Shinju, Obito's power surpassed even Hashirama Senju's, making it easy for him to battle multiple powerful Hokage, overpower both Naruto Uzumaki and Sasuke Uchiha, as well as the entire army of shinobi with minimal effort. Orochimaru. Orochimaru's character is multifaceted, but many people, including Tsunade, have referred to him as twisted. Jiraiya hypothesized that the loss of his parents at a young age, coupled with Tsunade's grief over Nawaki and Dan, may have instilled in Orochimaru a deep contempt to the vulnerability of human life and its impact on the living. This, in turn, fueled his desire for immortality. For this aim, Orochimaru conducted extensive experiments on humans, primarily to discover how much a human body could be altered and to exploit a subject's exceptional talents for personal gain. Once he had attained these objectives, Orochimaru aspired to earn the title of the Supreme Being, becoming immortal and capable of mastering every ninja technique in existence, a feat that would typically require numerous lifetimes. One person. Itachi Uchiha. From a young age, Itachi displayed an unusual level of wisdom beyond his years, demonstrating a keen ability to handle various situations effectively, discussing. However, it's important to note that despite this maturity, Itachi was also quite innocent and eager to learn from others in real-world contexts. He preferred to maintain a detached stance, observing people and concepts from afar to gain a deep understanding before fully engaging. And through this method, he managed to keep a distance from numerous individuals. Yet it enabled him to make decisions and act impartially, assessing situations in an unbiased manner. In the anime, Itachi surprisingly earned many friends and supporters due to his thoughtful consideration for others. Despite maintaining a reserved demeanor,